Hey, there's some pretty interesting World of Warcraft news, and I would like to give my take on it. Normally I don't comment the news, but I think it's a really interesting subject, and I think it would be interesting to hear everyone, so here's my take on it. In case you didn't know, Blizzard sent some survey to World of Warcraft Classic players, asking them how they would like to see the Burning Crusade server system, how that would work. So we can assume that it might come in the future, maybe soon even, so that's really interesting. To sum it up, there is only 4 possibilities that were discussed by Blizzard. First one will be completely new servers, everyone start level 1. The second option is that Burning Crusade servers, but you can start 58. The last 2 options include transfer, so you would be on your classic server with your characters, and your server would become a Burning Crusade server, and you will have the option to transfer some character to a classic server. The last option is you have your classic server, they open a new Burning Crusade server, and you have the option to transfer some of your characters, if you wish, to the new Burning Crusade server. So I would like to give a little bit my take on every option that they proposed. So the first one is brand new server, everyone start from zero, from scratch, level 1. I think it's pretty bad, because I don't want to level up some characters that I already did. Like for example, I did a Night Elf Hunter, and I like playing that character. I don't want to redo 1 to 60 with that character, okay? I like him and I just want to keep on playing him, but I don't want to restart completely, okay? So I think that would not please a lot of people, including me, of course. Now then, having the ability to start 58, I think that can be interesting in a certain way, but I think the other options are better, because as I just mentioned, I'm attached to some characters, okay, and I want to keep on playing them. I want to keep making them evolve, and I don't want to... Yeah, I could just restart a character level 58 that looked like exactly like the one I had before, and then I just have 2 levels to grind to get level 60, or I can start 58 immediately in the Burning Crusade. But I don't feel that's something I would like. I would like to keep my character. I don't know, maybe it's maybe it's a bit candid, but if I'm attached to a character, I would just like to keep on playing with it and not make like a pale copy of it, you know. Also, if you have accumulated some stuff while raiding that you want to keep in your bank or whatever, because that's kind of nice to flex on, I'm not gonna lie. So let's say, for example, you have your character, you have Sulfurous, and yeah, you're gonna lose it because you're gonna make a new character that looks like it without Sulfurous. You're not gonna grind it again. I mean, that's okay, you could do it, but I would prefer to keep my character and flex my Sulfurous one in a while if I want to, you know, still having it in my bank. So that's why I think it's not ideal. Then regarding the last 2 options, so your server stay classic and you transfer, or your server becomes the Burning Crusade and then you transfer. I think that the most organic option would be that your server is becoming a Burning Crusade server. So that's the organic way it will go through, like it did in the past. You just go to the next expansion, and then you have the ability to transfer some characters to a classic server. There is a lot of discussion about the economy. I'm gonna be honest, the economy is really bad. It's not what it used to be. When I played Classic, I played on 2 servers. One Horde on the Horde side, one on the Alliance side. And for what I experienced, the economy right now is completely different. So saying that transferring characters with gold and bank full of consumables or things to sell will mess up the economy is messed up for me. This whole World of Warcraft Classic, nothing made sense to me. The prices, nothing that I remember. Everything shifted, like prices of all the mats get so low sometimes, that's insane. Even on populated server it was not like this for me. I mean, that's crazy. Some stuff get completely super expensive, like much more than it used to be. Something get much cheaper. For me, nothing makes sense here. So I think when you say messing up the economy, it's gonna be messed up in the Burning Crusade as well. Like, of course, players' experience changing. You can't really get this emulate the same servers as you had in the past regarding the economy. because the server are, some of them are bigger, more players, so that's completely shifting the prices of consumables and other materials. So it's inherent, it's gonna be different. So I don't think I would have too many problems about that. To me, I think anyway it's a mess. So I would be keeping that option when your server from Classic become the Burning Crusade, and you can move some of your characters, or all of them if you wish, to a Classic server. I think that's the easiest way also for Blizzard, because then they can adjust the server's population, because it will go drastically down for World of Warcraft Classic. I know that I have some characters that I'm like, for example, imagine you have an overpowered Fury Warrior that you love and to play on the Classic server. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna transfer this guy, I'm gonna give him a bunch of gold, so he's like okay for like no matter what, or I'm gonna remove his gold because I'm not gonna need them as much and give it to another character, and I'm just gonna transfer him without like almost an empty bank and no gold, because yeah, I don't care, I have all the stuff I need now. I'm not gonna need anything more, I'm just gonna play this character to have fun, to do PvP or raid sometimes. Or a twink if I want to keep one, whatever. So I'm gonna keep my gold on the server that's gonna become a Burning Crusade server, and I think that's fair. That's fine, totally fine to me. I don't see any issue with that. The economy is gonna change on the new Classic servers. That's okay for me. They're already messed up. No big deal. Now I would like to address some of the points that Asmongold made during his video when he explained how it would work. For him, he talked about copying characters and not copying the gold, not copying any item that is not soulbound. So like you will use all your binds when equipped, and all your consumables. And I think it's not gonna work. Copying characters for Blizzard, I think that would be a mess, to be honest. Copying characters, I really don't think that's a good approach. That's like trying to satisfy everyone and satisfy no one at the same time, to my opinion. Copying characters. There is few characters that I like, I'm gonna keep them in Classic. Classic is gonna be messed up anyway, in terms of population and everything, so rebuilding proper servers based on the amount of people that transfer. Okay, maybe they're just gonna be level 60 for a while, characters, because everyone is gonna transfer just the high-end characters to keep in there, but the people that play that will still have fun, and then you can still have the option to level up or transfer a lower level character. I think that's something that's fair, but copying without the goal, and that's really strange, and that's not. I don't think Blizzard would go that way, to be honest. That would be kind of messed up. I think some really weird stuff would happen. I think, personally, regarding the balance between the Horde and Alliance on the different servers and the min-max people, I played the Burning Crusade with a Paladin because there's this discussion about the Seal of Revenge on the Alliance side and the Seal of Blood on the Horde side. That's the Seal of Blood is giving much more DPS than the Seal of Vengeance on the Alliance side. I created my first Paladin during the Burning Crusade as a Draenei. I didn't know there was differences between the spell. I thought they were just the same but different variation from one side to another for lore reason. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know there was difference in DPS at the time, and I really don't care, and I don't think players should care, and I don't think they should drive people playing on the Horde or the Alliance just because you have a little bit more DPS on one class. Of course, if you, let's say, you want to do some high-hand raid, but it's just for like trying to be the first one or clear the fastest, you know, like speedrun and stuff, and I don't understand why you should drive other people. I create characters maybe for some strange reason. Like the first character I created in Classic was a Tauren Warrior, because I thought that like in the intro cinematic of World of Warcraft you could have a giant totem that you will use to hit the bear pet of a hunter. I was really deceived when I realized you couldn't do that. And I created a Draenei Paladin because it was in the intro when he had this huge Libram that was like shining and this huge mask with a giant crystal on it, and I was like, damn! damn, that's what I want to do. And then I just created them because I thought that they were look cool and that was fun. Then I started to play more into that game of like getting the best class for each race, you know. So like I'm gonna play mage, gnomes because they have the intellect bonus, some stupid stuff like this. And I'm gonna play this fire specialization because it's doing more DPS right now than the arcane and or the frost. It's not viable right now in raid or in PvP or whatever reason, and that's kind of boring. I changed a few expansions later when I started to play just like the lamest specialization. That's what I did in the beginning, but like I also created a night elf dude and I played Moonkin. It was the shittiest spec. It was so bad, and I just did that because one of my friends told me it would be horrible. And okay, let me be honest, I did that by ignorance also, that I created some characters with taking some specs and just they were bad, but just because I didn't know better. Now I'm doing it on purpose because I'm like, yeah, Arcane Mage is shit. You know what, let me take it. I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna play this. And I enjoy it a lot. That's pretty cool, playing a spec that no one is playing. Majority. I kind of have fun sometimes also, like, you know, you're missing on something when you're certainly not exploring stuff because you just want to min-max your character. I don't think that should drive people, it will, so I understand that there is this issue about balancing the servers or alliance. But anyway, I think it's always been a bit messed up. What I've seen with Classic is that on RP server, roleplay server, it's always been much more alliance in general, and PvP server more horde. So anyway, you're kind of screwed, I guess, most of the time. Except if you go on Russian server where they play mostly Alliance for some weird reason. And every server, it's like, I think there was only one server that was mostly Horde, or maybe two, but all the rest, like, some servers were 90% Alliance. It's like... So I think it will be messed up anyway, so I wouldn't interfere with that. Just create a character with your friend on the server they play, or just wait to see how the population is and then create a character based on the population if you want to take advantage of it. World PvP is going to be different than in Classic, definitely, so I think that will not be as much as a problem as it was for Classic. Just my opinion. So, to sum it up, I would be Classic. Server, moving to the Burning Crusade, you have the option to move your character back to a Classic server. I think that would be healthy to rebuild the population of the Classic server with the people moving to the Burning Crusade. So that will allow Blizzard to make strong servers. They will also be able to control the alliance horde ratio if they want to do it. If it's like completely going the wrong direction, you can only move characters from this faction to this server, okay? So that will be help to balance a little bit, that we don't have like a 90-10%, for example. From one faction with the other. So I think that would be the best way to do it, and from the current servers I think they will just naturally progress then. I think that's fair. I think that's the best thing to do. That's my take on it. Okay, and one last thing I want to talk about. Do you like my beautiful frame around me? It's animated, also the background is animated. You have, like, for example here right now, you have some leaves that change color. So I made this. I made those frames. There's a lot of other ones on my channel. They can be really useful for streamers or YouTubers if they want to use those. So I really recommend you check it out. It's gonna probably be in the recommended video at the end of this one. So please have a look at those frames if you like them. I think they're pretty cool. I'm just proud of myself for making those. I think that can be a nice contribution to the community. I wanted to make something for everyone, and some of them are pretty cool. I would definitely ask you to check. This is my favorite by far. This is Druid themed or elf, night elf themed frame. I like to make them animated. It gives a little flavor to your streams or YouTube videos. So I really recommend you to check it out. I will see you next time for another video. Thank you for listening. Bye!